So this is a garden tour video. I just finished weeding this just like maybe an hour and a half ago. The sun isn't out today, so they're not dying off as fast. Probably tomorrow when the sun comes out in full force, they'll die off. I'm happy for the sun not being out today because the last few days have been like 98 degrees and that's pretty brutal. Here are the chickens. So let's get to this tour. It was pretty weeded up over here. Me and Asa have been weeding for the past, I want to say, week. He's working right now, but it's crazy. Here we have 4 watermelons. There should have been more, but the ground is not perfect and they died off. So we have 4 watermelon plants. Going up here, these are mounds that we have pumpkins in. And we just decided to mound them up, you know, a little bit of mountain and put a little bit of hill and put a few seeds in them. And some are doing well, some are not doing well. Don't remember exactly what variety is what, but I know for sure I planted a few Jamaican pumpkins in here. Butternut squash that I love so much. I hope they're not the one that's not doing well. One called Fairy Tale, one called Gerada Blue, and Jack-o'-lantern to decorate this Halloween. So some are doing well, as I say. Some are not doing well. Don't know what I'm going to do about that. This is the corn. A few of them have died out. Get out. A few of them have died out, but there's still quite a bit of corn left. I just sowed some yesterday. That's going to be in this row right here. Over here, you probably could see my red peas. Transplanted them yesterday. It was so hot that they roasted in the ground. They're starting to come up now, but I don't know if they're going to survive because most of the leaves are like scorched. So I may have to go over and resow them. If we get another cool day like this. I don't have any right now, so I'm going to have to buy some and resow them because we do like them in rice and peas. But let me go back over here. So as I said, there's 4 watermelons. In front of us are all the pumpkins. We have 2 rows of corns, and I'm walking towards the trellis right now. We have harvested a couple handfuls of cucumbers. We have a few peas in the front here, sugar snap. We didn't have a lot of those, and we have a handful of green bean. We have harvested 1 single green bean so far. They're just started to run. We put them in a bit late, but that's okay. I also have a few watermelon on this trellis and a few pumpkins. I have pickling cucumbers, and I have on the other side garden cucumbers and salad cucumbers. 3 varieties, I think. This is our pumpkin. Oh, look at this beautiful watermelon right here. I hope it got pollinated. The bees were very busy up here today. This is our first pumpkin that this plant have put out. So I have to remember to pollinate it when it has opened up, the flower. Cannot afford for it to die. And as I said, a few watermelons, tons of cucumbers, about 70 cucumber plant. That is a lot of cucumbers. I came up here this morning and I took out like 4 or 5 cucumbers out of here that I was going to cook for breakfast, but I ended up didn't doing it. So I'm going to cook it for dinner tonight. And you can still see, oops, I mistakenly broke the bean. But you can still see some cucumbers in here. And as I say, some of the variety, which I think most of them is pickling cucumbers, because I'm going to try pickling this year. This is the biggest watermelon. There would have been 2 of them, but Nyla did what she did and picked 1. These don't get really big, that's why they're on the trellis. These are sugar baby watermelons, so I'm very excited in tasting that. I also transplanted a few more watermelons back here just a few days ago, but they are not doing well. We do not have perfect soil. Hopefully in the future, just by working the soil and adding stuff to it, like organic matter, it will become better for growing stuff in. And by adding compost, we are working on making our own compost. So within the next 4 or 5 years, hopefully sooner, we'll have lovely soil that won't kill most of our stuff off. Moving on to this thing that looks like, I don't know. This is asparagus, first year asparagus. I've done some research. They say not to cut them the first year, just let them do their thing. And that's what we've been having them do. So this right here is asparagus, as you can see, and they're flopping over. I'm just letting them do their thing. This is a big one, isn't it? Can you see it? Yeah. There we have it. And there's another cucumber right here. And remember I said I picked a handful this morning. So as I said, another corn will go in this row. We did plant a lot of stuff. This row that I just put the bean in should have been beets. I've tried direct sowing beets 2 times and nothing came up. So that's sad. From all the beets that I planted in here, this is all that came up. And they should have been bigger than this by now because they were planted in very early, and beets is not a long crop. So they should have been way bigger than this. But as I said, the soil is not the best thing ever. I have a row of carrots right here. I'm curious to see how big they're gonna grow because the ground is so compact. I just don't know how the carrots are gonna do. And they should be multicolored carrots. So you can see a purple one right here. I think it should be purple, orange, yellow, red, and something almost like a white translucent color. So we'll see how that comes out. I'm very curious to see. Once again, it should be a full row of carrots, but down in that low spot, things does not like to grow. So that's what happened to that row. Right here we have some peanuts. Again, should be a full row of peanuts. Most of them did not come up. Let me go check what this girl is doing because I feel like she's eating my plants. Okay, so almost a row of peanut, and they're not looking so bad. They're doing really well. We're planning not to eat them this year so we can plant them out next year and have more peanut. This is my sunflower line. I wanted to do a whole line down the front, but the soil was really hard to turn over and we did that by hand. So we only have a third of our front with sunflower. I did not tend them, that's why they're so small, but they're already starting to put out heads, so I'm happy about that they're at least gonna put out something. That they're at least gonna put out something for heads, so I'm really excited about that because you can see I did not tend them. So, and there's some mammoths in there that should be taller than me. So you can see the competition and not the perfect soil is why they're that small, but they're still trying to do something. Right here we have our pepper plant. Again, should be a full row of pepper, but most of them died off. Just yesterday, I transplanted some more peppers. They're very tiny, and we'll see just how well those come up. I did a few paprika plant yesterday, Scotch bonnet, and habanero. Okay. This that you see running on the ground right here is ground cherry. They look like this. I want to say they have a small hint of tomato taste, not a lot of tomato taste. Strong on the pineapple, very, very sweet when they're ripe, and they're called ground cherry because when they are ripe, they just fall on the ground and they just grow on the ground like this. These plants are uber small and now they're pretty much taking over. I came up here yesterday and I harvested a handful for Nyla because she loved them. So there may not be a lot of them ripe right now. When they are ripe though, they turn, the papery part turn yellow to brown, almost like this. But bug got to this one, I see. And they fall on the ground. Here's one. Wasn't ripe because it didn't fall. But they look like this. And pop them open like this. And so good. It's amazing. Okay. Over here you can see my tomato all trellised up. We had slow release fertilizer added to the tomato, and well, sadly to say, it rained for like a week after we applied the fertilizer. So what was supposed to be slow release got all dispersed into the soil and burnt off like 30% of our tomatoes. So that's why it's looking so scanty right now. All of these right here are new transplants. So I took the suckers off, rerooted them, and added them back in. I have 30 suckers going right now that I should transplant out in the next week, and then we'll be back up on our tomato harvest. We won't really miss out on anything because these suckers are they're probably just 3 weeks old, not even a month. And as you can see, they're already flowering. That is why if you have a tomato plant, do not replant seed if you've lost some tomatoes. Do the suckers, because within a month after clipping that sucker off and putting it back in the ground, it is gonna start giving you fruits, and that's proof right there. But you can see some of them still aren't doing good. I'm gonna have to replace this plant. You know, the shock and everything, ground not being perfect. But some of these trees, some of these plants are doing really, really good. I harvested some of these cherry tomatoes yesterday. I ate one, Nyla ate like 3 of them. She loves them. In this end of this row right here, we have a few okra plants. We didn't plant a lot of them. Some of them died out. You're gonna have that. But we have okra coming, so that is good. This is the first year garden too. So I'm surprised by how much is going on in a first year garden. To be honest, we've lost a lot, but we're still trying and things are going forward. Right here, as you can see, these little plants, they are radishes. And these are onions. Thought the radishes are in between. I'm gonna show you one of my onions. You can see them. I planted these from seed, so I am really proud of them, you know, very proud. I tried them from bulb one year and they didn't do very well because the bulb just wouldn't stop trying to go to seed. Just look at this onion though. Wow. But yeah, so we have onions and radishes in this row. These ones are older than those ones, maybe by a week. So in no time we'll be able to eat radishes, as you can see. Sauteed up, and oh, my onions, they're looking so good. In this row we have some onions and some scallions, bunching onions as people would probably call them, but red scallions down there. And these are our potato rows. So we have 5 rows of potato. Not all of them came up, but if what we have produced properly, we will be having a lot of potato to last us through the winter and more. Here is callaloo. It's a Jamaica plant. People in America probably will call it amaranth, I think. But in Jamaica we call it callaloo, also known as cow tongue. It's a green that you could steam up, and it is pretty amazing. It takes forever to grow. From seed, the seedlings just would not do well in the tray. I tried direct sowing, they did not come up at all. So these have been in the ground from the tray for like a week, and they're doing better, I can say. This, as I said, is bunching onion, red scallion. Yeah. And the chicken won't leave the garden, trying to eat all my stuff. This should be a cauliflower. We had a whole row of brassica, but worm took them. We could not get ahead of the worms, and we only left the 2 best looking plants. So if I'm not lying, this should be cauliflower. I am not 100% sure. It's definitely not broccoli. This should be cauliflower too. Why they look different, you may say? I planted seeds with multicolor cauliflower, so maybe that's why they look different. These are squashes. We've had a few zucchini and summer squash from here already. And the chickens have also had a few zucchini from here that I was saving to make bread. But we gotta fence this place. I cannot stay on top of them. But as I said, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4. Is it 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. About 5 rows or 4.5 rows of potatoes. And inside these rows beside the rows, I have sweet potatoes growing down here. I have slips of sweet potatoes that I made myself that I need to transplant out in here tomorrow, the latest. They need to get inside the garden. I was planning on doing container growing for them, but that's just not going to happen right now. So I'm just going to try and put them in the garden ASAP. She's scratching out my potatoes. Look at her. Just scratching out my potatoes. Girl. Let's go check what she's doing. Girl. I just watered it. So she's probably like, ooh, a lot of worms are probably in here. Let me come scratch it out. So let's head back over and finish up this tour. So as I said, we have a few sweet potato slips right here. Not doing bad. These are my, ants. Ants keep killing my potatoes and they keep killing my flowers. These are cosmos. And in front are marigold. So you can see these beautiful cosmos. And we have all different color coming up. We have a white one. It should be interesting opening. And these ones up here are marigold. Have not started flowering or letting out flowers yet. Last but not least, up front here, we have strawberries. A lot of my strawberry plants have died off. And I'm just trying to let these ones go to suckers or runners this year, as you can see. So we've been picking off some of the strawberries, or only letting them produce just a little bit of strawberries because we want this so we could have a lot of strawberries next year. Pretty much want to fill this whole area right here with strawberries. I'm just gonna let the runners stay where they are. Unless it's too crowded, then I'm gonna fill the line all the way down there because there is a random strawberry plant down there, as you can see. So I'm gonna fill the line and just let the strawberry do their thing. There is indeed, oh no, I know I should have picked it. I feel so bad now. There, the chickens. There was a strawberry here, right here, you can see. And as I was watering the plant, I was gonna pick it. But I said to myself, Nyla would look. Wow. I said to myself, Nyla would love to pick it because I was going to pick it and give it to her. She loves to harvest her own stuff. So I'm like, oh, she's sleeping right now. But when she wake up, I'm going to come and I'm going to have her pick it. And she's going to love that. The chickens got to it first. This is why we need a fence, guys. I cannot get ahead of them when it comes onto the garden. But that's it. That is our little garden. And if you can look right there, you'll probably see a sunflower that's trying to open up right now. We're gonna have a lot of bees around, so that's good. But this is our garden. It took us a couple weeks to weed out. This is my little raised bed that I made, and we harvested some radishes out of here. There's a few beets in there, but I don't think beets goes well with these potatoes because they were crowding them. We also had carrots in there that are not doing well, as you can see, because as I said, the potatoes are growing over. Have these sticks to keep the potatoes upright so we can at least get a beet out of here. This one is not doing bad at all. So the beets that are in the garden up there should be bigger than this. You see how much leaf? It should be bigger than this. This is way younger than the ones that are planted in the garden, and this is doing better because the soil in here is better. We bought garden soil and we mixed some of the soil that we have in there so it would keep moisture. And as you can see how it's growing, but this is the purple potatoes that I have here. And this is Nyla's corn also that she planted herself, and she transplanted it herself, and she watered it until it was independent to grow on its own. So this is Nyla's right here. Over here I have my coleus. In Jamaica we'll call it Joseph coat. I've been transplanting them, so I have a handful of coleus up here. Not bad, not bad. And these are the tomatoes that I said I have to transplant in the next week or so. This is a pepper that I mistakenly broke off. I was hoping that it would sit root, but it's not gonna. And it even had a pepper on it. And over here is our thyme. I've cut thyme so many times. I have so much thyme, I don't know what to do with it. So this is our thyme, and this is my lemongrass. I have cut this back so many times, and it just keeps giving. I'm hoping to see if I can bring it inside to save it this winter. But that's it. This is it, guys. This is our little slice of heaven. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.